Okay, guys. So there is a butcher company called the Bearded Butcher on YouTube, and they're really cool. And I think they're sponsored by Meet Your Maker, which is supposed to be a pretty darn good meat processing at your home company. So we ordered the $99.99 500-watt meat grinder. So we're gonna unbox it, and we just thawed some chuck steak.
Yes.
Chuck steak. And we're going to try that tonight and make burgers. Cool.
Look at his onesie.
Cool. So this is the meat grinder. It was pretty easy. As you could see, this guy just popped on. This is the plunger to push the meat down. There's a knob, like a big turning knob on this side, and I just unscrewed it. And this guy just stuck in. Looks pretty straightforward. It won't turn. There's little notches in it so that, I don't know if you can see that, those like key notches so that when it goes into here, and there's a hex gear bolt thing. So it just pops into that. Screw this to tighten it. So this is, let's move stuff around. So this guy here is the actual cutting blade gear assembly. So you take this apart. All this stuff feels like pretty solid metal. Like this is a little light, but it's all feeling pretty well made. It's actually greased or oiled. But you have your, I forget what this is called, but there's just like the stuff it squeezes through. And the blade's pretty impressive. I've been reading a lot about the blades, and this guy's a pretty darn big, beefy blade. And then the worm drive or worm screw. So I don't know if I'm going to read the instructions, but Franny made a good point. We should probably clean it first.
Or maybe that's a frowned upon thing. Who knows?
Who knows? And it's got different little guys to push through. We're going to read the instructions real quick before we start doing things, but they're all solid, like very well machined pieces. So we're going to read the instructions, and then we'll just kind of
wash each part thoroughly in warm soapy water.
Cool. All right, so not going to film that because that's boring. Okay, so we washed all the parts. So first thing, I'm looking at the design. This plugs into that. Why do I already feel like I'm missing something? This plugs into that. Then this, the worm drive, that's what I'm calling it, goes in there. Then a blade with the flat side, which makes sense, goes in. And then I'm going to use there's two, so this is the stuffing piece for like doing it comes with like different stuffing tubes to make sausages and shit, which is pretty cool. We're going to do that. And then it has a fine grinding hole and a big grinding hole thing. So we're gonna do the big grinding hole tonight. Just gotta figure out how it goes in. That was a big boom. That was probably fireworks. Okay, so there's a little notch. So it fits in right there. And then you screw all that on. I think I did all that correctly. Now this guy's still jiggly, so I'm going to tighten that. That's tight. The hopper, that's what I remember, it's called a hopper, like a paintball gun. That just goes in, that's probably good enough. There's a couple different settings here. Let's see if
they call it a tray here.
Oh, they call it a tray. So there's reverse, and that's on a spring. Then it stays on off. stuff, grind. So those are the parts of it. So we're going to grind some meat. Cool. So I turned this machine on and it's really loud. So I'm basically going to start cutting. I chilled some meat. We took a whatever steak and cubed it into like inch by inch basically and chilled it. And then we had a duck emergency. But that'll be a whole nother thing that we'll talk about. But I'm going to turn this on. It's going to be loud. I'll talk. If it doesn't work, then in the video I'll edit it and maybe like mute it or turn it down and then do a voiceover. But here we go. Ready?
Let's do it.
So we're going to switch it to grind. I'm actually incredibly impressed with that. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, it seems like pretty evenly ground. It did not hesitate. Didn't look difficult for the machine to do.
Yeah, it was powerful too. But yeah, so I am impressed. I guess that's the last little bit of meat. There's probably always going to be a little bit left over, I guess. So just kind of whatever. It all pops apart right away, and you just clean it. Like I'm very impressed with that. Like
yeah,
I've watched.
So that last little bit, I don't know. I mean, it's not bad. The rest of it is pretty evenly ground. It was literally just one chunk, that chunk right there, at the very end that was stuck in the plate.
Yeah, it just kind of ends up.
So we'll
there.
kind of read on that and see if that's like a common thing that happens or if there's something wrong we're doing. But
it went right through that, and it's really consistent, really mixed.
And we're gonna season it and turn
Smells
it into
good.
burgers, and we'll let you know how it works out.
Sweet.
Say bye.
Bye. Take the lid off.
So we put pickles, ketchup, and red onion on it. But look at that meat. It's juicy, it's tender. And if it drips, you know it's good.
Yeah, stick it in her mouth.
No.
Pickle. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
I made mine.
Open it up.
Oh.
But he literally puts the meat on top, but I guess that's alright too.
It's all about how you watch the video. Oh, mama.
Taste this. Nice and tender. Drippy.
This is the best burger I've ever had.
I think he's being biased.
Like the meat, like you can tell it's not just
It's not typical ground beef.
ground beef. Like, and this was a cheap Aldi.
It was Save-A-Lot.
Oh, so a cheaper Save-A-Lot something
Super
steak.
cheap chuck steak.
Oh,
Like this chuck steak, I bought like 4 for $11. And this tastes amazing.
we ate the steak just by itself.
And it was crappy. I did not like it whatsoever, so we just let that sit in our freezer. It's been in the freezer since August 11th.
And like literally, I just added some ground pepper, some ground Himalayan sea salt, and some onion powder. And like,
It's good.
it's great.
So I'll be buying more shitty chuck steaks just so we can make some awesome burgers.
The whole,
Coli to come.
I might not have washed all the packing grease
Oh,
that was on the meat, so I don't know if that's poisonous. But
Diarrhea to come.
we bought this specifically for like this meat grind is specifically for deer season because we're going to be processing deer, hopefully. But yeah, like I said, I'm really impressed so far and stuff. So cool.
Bye.